Oh, of course. Happy Halloween! Tonight I want to talk about two scary games. One is a brand new Halo game that is kind of boring. And the other one took the job away from a CEO. And I know it's old news at this point, so let's start with Halo. A brand new Halo game was announced and revealed last week. Of course, we're talking about Halo Campaign Evolved. It's a remake of Halo 1, aka Halo Combat Evolved. Except that, importantly, there's no multiplayer, hence Halo Campaign Evolved. Now to me, that makes it a funny title. That makes it a play on words. It's basically Yuko Replay. Though, in this case, it seems like they're serious about it. It seems like they think it's a cool, good title. And I don't know, maybe this is just reckless hating at this point, but I feel like this whole title reveal at the end comes across as so flat and cheap. Frankly, doesn't look any better than the end of a trailer for Yuka Replay. The game itself is early. It's early. They're constantly warning you. The only thing they had ready to be shown off is this one mission, the Silent Cartographer. And even then, only 2/3 of the level was ready to be shown off. And I'm thinking it looks pretty rough. And that's not, I don't want to be like that guy who's just like all games have to look gorgeous. But for a remake of a 24-year-old game that was already remade 11 years ago, the entire point is how good it looks. And the way it's presented, it's like you should be really impressed by this. For the first time in Halo history, it's running on Unreal Engine 5. Though you could probably deduce that for yourself just from looking at this iconic Unreal Engine motion blur. I'd say generally they failed to leave a big impression on everybody on how good a modern Halo game can look. I would say that the main takeaways for Campaign Evolved are 4-player online co-op. Halo 1 never had that. Brand new prologue missions. How'd these guys meet? And the thing that Halo Studios themselves seem most excited about.
It'll be available on Xbox and PC, and for the first time, we're coming to PlayStation. So looking forward to welcoming a lot of new players and a lot of our friends and folks that just haven't had a chance to experience Halo. Now is going to be their time.
I'm wondering if they just announced this a bit early, a bit before it was ready to be seen. And I realize it makes sense to show this off at the Halo World Championships, which is probably the only place in the whole world where a large audience will sit and watch a session of Halo-themed Mad Libs.
We need an adjective.
Adjective.
Adjectives.
It's just daisy chaining this.
Frustrated.
Frustrated.
Despite that, it is still early. The game still has time to become something special. Do you want to know a game that doesn't have time? FBC Firebreak. So about 3 weeks ago, Remedy published a profit warning, essentially to say, hey, we're going to have a quarterly financial coming up soon. It's going to be a lot worse than we expected. And to me, Remedy is just a beloved game studio that puts out a good video game every few years. I didn't know they had to publish stuff like this. And look who the profit warning is pinned on. That's what the CEO, Taro Vertala, says. Remedy is recognizing a non-cash impairment of capitalized development costs and allocated purchase, publishing, and distribution rights related to FBC Firebreak. Then in a matter of weeks, today, that CEO has been replaced because of Firebreak. Which to me, I didn't perceive as a massive blunder, more of just, one of those like, oh, that came out kind of games. And Firebreak's apparent financial failure adds this kind of dark mist to all their old trailers and developer diaries. I was watching the community update they put out to promote the big first content update that would maybe turn around the fortunes for this game. And they keep talking about how much of a failure it was at launch.
I mean, we should have done better, we know, but then again, this was always going to be a game that will keep building update by update.
We know that we didn't get everything right at launch, and we are working to improve those things.
You're just like, stop saying that. You don't have to be that honest. I was looking at how back in August, the company still had big hopes for Firebreak. In their financial report, Remedy showed this chart. Look, day one, yeah, people hated it. Exceptionally negative reviews during the early hours. Sales momentum was lost. But every day after that first very bad day, scores are up. Let's go! They're saying, hey man, this game's on Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. a healthy amount of players keep playing the game. Just a few months later, that number of players is no longer healthy. That's all it takes. It was kind of wild to me, going back to this chart, they showed this to give investors hope in the future of the game, right? But it really just illustrated how over it already is. Pragmatically, the data shows this is what failure looks like. By the way, it was kind of interesting to see what Remedy financial reports look like. Comparatively, they're pretty stylish. Capcom will show up with ridiculously outdated logos and they don't really care. All you need to know is Mega Man is 6 million units more popular than Devil May Cry. Remedy is like, here's a large dramatic photograph of our CEO. He has a vision, but his days are numbered. Anyway, I guess if you're looking for the spookiest aspect of this whole story, it's that Marcus Makey, interim CEO, says they're going to turn things around by moving faster and acting more decisively.
What we need to do is to learn to move faster and act more decisively in the future.
He's saying, hi everyone, I'm your new fill-in boss. Was wondering if maybe you could all focus up. Okay? We're going to need to move a little faster around here. Scarier than weapons. And that is delayed inputs, which will be on break for a few weeks. There will, of course, be an in-betweener popping up sometime before the next season. Until next time, thanks for watching. So also this week, I was surprised to see a brand new January update coming up for Animal Crossing New Horizons, which is an old game. And maybe nobody should have been surprised. Animal Crossing New Horizons is, after all, the second best-selling Switch game, weighing in at an intimidating 48.19 million pieces. Of course, yes, it should have been obvious that it would be receiving a Switch 2 edition. And unlike the Zeldas and Super Mario Party Jamboree and Kirby and the Forgotten Land and Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4, which would all charge you $9.99 for the upgrade for some questionably meaningful features, this upgrade is just going to be a measly $4.99 US. What's weird is, most of what was announced, the biggest part of the upcoming update, is free stuff outside of that $4.99. The Switch 2 edition is merely better graphics, mouse controls, 12-player co-op, good luck with this, and this thing.
Lolly! Look at that! She responded.
But on the day of the release of the Switch 2 edition, with the big update, everyone gets stuff like this hotel, this freaking dream world, can craft multiples of an item, and a Lego couch. And I guess what I find interesting about the reasoning behind the effort put into things like this, going back to when they first announced the DLC for New Horizons, way back when, Happy Home Paradise, that was used as an incentive, a push for the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. And on their website, it's still listed as the third benefit. Look at all this old DLC you get with your subscription. Pay more. So I think the incentive now for Nintendo to make what is essentially free DLC and a $5 expansion for the Switch 2 edition is just to get people doing this.
Cheers! Tasty. Oh yeah!
Right? You'd think they would just be working on the sequel, but there is financial incentive for Nintendo to keep making people playing this game, which will make them want to pay for online to show their friends all of their stupid things. And also there's this.
With an active Nintendo Switch Online membership, you can even play a select classic game on each system. Now that's playing with power.
So what's funny there is playing NES games within Animal Crossing was a feature in the GameCube game, which then never appeared again afterward because they realized it was crazy to give away free games. And all three of the games they showed here are already part of Nintendo Switch Online. You can play those right now. Instead, you could hypothetically now play them within your Animal Crossing home with Animal Crossing text on the bottom of the screen. That's new. The announcer says that for each classic console, you can play one game on it. So what about this thing? I think the truest, most genuine test of Nintendo's generosity is going to be what game pops up when you boot up a Switch 2 within Animal Crossing New Horizons? I've got 4 theories. 1, it could just be a demo of a game. Like Metroid Prime 4 will already be out in January, but I still think that would be pretty cool. 2, maybe more likely, it could be just one of like a more modern game that is available on Nintendo Switch Online, like Tetris 99 or F-Zero 99, or nothing else at the moment. 3, I was thinking it could be like a fourth wall break-in joke where it boots up New Horizons within New Horizons. That could be funny. And finally, I know this is crazy, but it's basically the only way I can see this game ever having a chance of thriving is they could just plop in the entirety of Halo Campaign Evolved.